Hey, what's up everyone and welcome to Daily Code Buffer. In this video, we are going to learn about the mediator design pattern. So let's get started. Mediator design pattern is a part of a behavioral design pattern, and as the name suggests, it behaves as the mediator between the different kinds of objects and different types of behaviors. So that's the basic idea. Let's first understand what is mediator. Let's take the real world example. Let's take the example of a ATC and the different planes revolving around and trying to land. Okay, so there are 2 to 3 planes which wants to land on an airport, and what they do is they cannot talk directly between them, right? Because there might be chances of miscommunication as well, and there might be other different challenges as well. So what they do is they talk to ATC. Okay, ATC is a mediator, and that ATC is responsible to get the data from the different airplanes and to provide the data back to the different airplanes based on the different status and notifications. Okay, so that's the general idea. So all the airplanes are connecting to ATC, and ATC is giving the information back to the pilots. What should be done, which plane should go first, and all those information. Okay, so that's the general idea, and where ATC is the mediator. So in our programming as well, this type of situation happens where multiple objects are created and there are a lot of dependencies and everything, and because of that application gets tightly coupled. And when the application gets tightly coupled, the communication between the different objects and how separately we can create those becomes very tedious, right? So at that time, what we do is we try to have a mediator, and that mediator is responsible to have the communication around the different objects. Okay, so that's the same idea that we are going to use in the mediator design pattern as well. Okay, so when you have different objects and you have very huge amount of dependencies, and to reduce that dependency, what you do is you add a mediator, and that mediator will be responsible to have the communication between the different objects. They will not be directly communicating to each other. There will be mediator which will be communicating between the two. So they both the objects, all the different objects per se, will be independent of each other. Okay, so the application is loosely coupled. Let's understand with a simple flow here how the mediator design pattern will be implemented, and we will take with one example as well. So for the mediator design pattern, what we will be having is we will be having a mediator, okay, which will be responsible to have the communication between the different objects. So this mediator will be the interface, okay, and this mediator will have multiple implementation of this mediator, okay, multiple implementation. And to call this mediator, there has to be a colleague, right? So there has to be class which will call this mediator, okay, for the different types of objects. So we will call it as a colleague or a component or anything. Okay, so whatever you want to tell. And this also is going to be the interface or per se abstract class. Okay, and this abstract class will have the object of a mediator, which is this one. So this component has the object or has the reference for mediator. So that means all this different implementation of this component, maybe component A, component B, whatever. Okay, so now all this component A and component B, if they want to interact with each other, they will interact using this mediator. Okay, there will be a behavior added, there will be an extra implementation added that will allow these objects to communicate between each other using this mediator. Okay, that's the simple idea behind this mediator design pattern. So we have the mediator and we have the different implementation of the mediator. We have the component, and that component has a mediator. Okay, so with that particular mediator, what are the different implementations or different categories of the component? They can communicate between each other using that mediator object, which is this one. Okay, so that's the idea. Now we will take one simple example of a chat application where we will use this mediator. Okay, so let me just show you that example. Okay, I hope this is clear, because mediator is just one extra object that will help to communicate between the different objects. Okay, so that's the same idea we are going to use here in our application. So here you can see that we have created the chat mediator, and you can see that I have added the references as well from where I have taken this example. You can visit their website and share some love as well. So this is a simple interface chat mediator. Okay, so that's a mediator that we have created, and what this mediator will do, this mediator will send a message. Okay, so you can see there is a method which will send the message, and there is a method which will add the user to the users. Simple to method. Okay, so it will take the user and add the user, and it will send the message, whatever the message it is, to a particular user. So that's the only two thing this chat mediator is doing. If you go to the user, okay, you can see that this is the user, and this user, this is a component. Okay, what we talked about here, right? This is a component. So now user, you can see that user, this component has an object of mediator. That's why this user has a mediator. Okay, so this user now has a chat mediator which is named as a mediator, And now you can see we have the extra fields as well, and we have the constructor to initialize all the fields. Simple thing. Now we have two abstract methods for this component, that is user, that is send a message and receive a message. Two things. Okay, we are sending a message and we are receiving a message. Now this component has its implementation. Okay, so this user IMPL, we can go here, and this has its implementation. There might be multiple components as well. Okay, now this user IMPL extends user, it has the constructor which is initializing the values here, and it has the implementation of send and receive. Okay, two things. Now send, it will take the message, it will print the message. Okay, you can see it is printing the message, and it is calling the mediator send message method. Okay, where we are passing the message and we are passing the mediator itself. Okay, sorry, not mediator, component itself. Okay, if you go to the chat mediator, you can see that send message is taking the message and it is passing the user, that is the component. Same, it's been done here. Okay, for the receive as well, it will get the message and it will print out the message. Simple two stuffs. Okay, the implementation. Now this was the component and its component implementation. Okay, now we have to have the implementation of the mediator as well, because there might be different mediators we want to call. Okay, we want to invoke. So this chat mediator implementation, you can see this is implementing the chat mediator, which will have the list of users. And this chat mediator was having two methods. One was add user and one was send message, right? So this add user method, you can see it is just adding the user into the list, and send message method, what it is doing is it is taking the message, taking the component, that is the user, and for each and every user it is calling the receive method. Okay, so you can see that we are not directly calling users or everything, we are just using the mediator. That mediator is calling the users method, okay, which is invoking the components method. Okay, so that mediator is between each and everything, and mediator is responsible to sending and receiving part. So this is how you will be implementing the mediator design pattern. If there are different components of the mediator and different implementation of the user as well, that is the component, those will be able to talk to each other using this mediator, because this mediator will be available throughout its implementation. So that is the general idea about the mediator design pattern. You might have used this mediator design pattern in your day-to-day work as well. If you have used it, do let me know in the comment section below how you have used it, and if you have not, go through this video, and if you try to use it, also do let me know in the comment section below that how you tried to use this mediator design pattern and how this fit in your application as well. So that's it about the mediator design pattern. You do not have to mug up each and everything, just a basic understanding would be good enough to answer your interview questions regarding the design patterns. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for the upcoming videos. You can also click on join button to support my channel as well. I will see you in the next video. Till then, happy coding. Bye bye.